Hello, welcome back to another episode of Podium Pop. My name is Celine, and I am here with my co-host Gracie. We have another episode for you today, and we will be recapping the Canadian Grand Prix for Formula One. Before we get started, make sure you go follow us on social media. We post all of our episodes on Spotify and on YouTube. We also post quite a bit on TikTok and on Instagram, so make sure you're giving us a follow there. We love posting silly little videos. Let's go ahead and pop the bottle. Let's get right on into it, and let's discuss Canada.
Before we discuss, let's get our disclaimers out of the way.
Yep, okay.
Disclaimer 1, we watched Le Mans all weekend, so if we look a little tired, we're a little tired.
We're a little tired. We're a little eepy.
Disclaimer 2, after watching Le Mans, I went and was outside all day, so if you see my sunburn, no, you don't.
At a water park.
I was at a water park.
With cicadas.
Yeah, if you guys get seasonal cicadas in your area, and you know... Not seasonal, like the 17-year cicadas. Mm-hmm. The seasonal ones are fine, they don't bother you. No, the 17-year cicadas were at the water park I was at. Mm-hmm. It was unfortunate. Flying down into you, flying onto you, they're everywhere. And disclaimer 3, currently, Max Verstappen and George Russell are at the stewards, so we'll be hearing about that soon, I'm sure. And Lando and Oscar are next in line, so... I'm probably going to be looking at my phone. We could be hearing breaking news mid-episode. So if you see that happening, that's what we're doing.
Hopefully we hear the breaking news during the episode and not after. But just know that it's a possibility. So if you haven't heard otherwise and you listen to this episode and we don't talk about it again, maybe go look up to see if anything's happened.
Max and George have been there for probably a little bit now.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have
likely place for them to be.
No, literally. Yeah. So let's talk about the weekend.
Let's talk about it.
We'll get into it at the end. We're going chronological, you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Let's go back to the beginning. Rewind.
Yeah. Any pre-weekend news?
Yeah. Okay. Lance Stroll actually raced.
Good job, Lance. Honestly, how does he keep doing this?
I don't know how he keeps doing that. I fear
something is suspicious.
And like you all know, if you've been listening, I'm a fan of Lance. I will defend him. I do fear this. So like, this isn't just like a hater point of view. I fear that like this whole wrist thing, like I don't know how much longer he can keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like they're almost putting like just Band-Aids on it when it should be like stitches.
And like it needs full, probably long time recovery.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he probably did get some stitches.
Yeah,
I don't know. So we saw he didn't compete in the Spanish Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
And then people were thinking Felipe might come in, and then he didn't. So Felipe competed in Le Mans. And then we got word that Lance was doing it, which it was his home race. Good for him.
Yeah.
Very happy he could go in his home race. I don't know. I just am scared in the long run it's going to, like, screw him over more.
Right.
In the end, and then, like, you know, he's just going to be living in chronic pain from that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, like sometimes you just got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him.
You know you do.
And he seems like the type to know his way around a poker table, so like he should be familiar.
But once again, that just goes to show how much Lance actually does love the sport, and he's not just doing it because his dad's paying for a seat. His dad is paying for a seat, yes, we know.
Yes.
But he loves it.
That's still true. Yeah, and I also think a lot of people, there's discussion, we talked about it, I also talked about it when I was on the Outside Line Media podcast episode, where, like, Felipe was like, everyone was like, should he go to Le Mans, if he gets the opportunity to go to Canada? I was very firmly like, he should go to Canada, and obviously hindsight is 20/20, but I know for a fact that if he was ever questioning it, knowing what he knows now, he should have freaking gone to Canada, because they didn't even finish the race in Le Mans.
But also,
any news?
No, someone started a space on Twitter, sorry. I get my source from Chris Medlin because he's very accurate, so anytime I get a Twitter notification. Anyway, yeah, but also, I don't know. It happened. Yeah.
And it is, I do wonder what will happen after this season. We were kind of talking about this while you were at the water park, me and Marley were, and like, silly season is always chaotic, but like, ever since, like, last year, like, the crazy thing that happened was Lewis going to Ferrari, and then, like, Carlos being like, where am I going? And this year, there's not, like, a super, super obvious, oh my gosh, where are they going next? So it almost makes it, like, anything is possible, and, like, almost, like, a little more on edge of, like, quite literally anything could happen.
We're either going to get a big move that causes a lot of dominoes, or it's going to be
nothing. Like, no one's
There's
moving.
no in between.
Yeah. And, of course, Cadillac coming in is going to shake things up a little bit.
That'll be so... I can't wait to hear from Cadillac. I feel like they had a lot of good opportunities to announce Checo, and they just haven't.
Yeah, let's speak up. You don't think that they'll wait until the Mexico race, right? That's way too close to the end of the year.
That's October. That's almost November. It's end of October.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Right.
I was kind of thinking summer break.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking from the beginning. I'm wondering if they thought maybe waiting to announce a driver would bring them more hype, but I fear like I'm forgetting about them.
Yeah.
Give me a driver. You know.
They don't want to be forgettable. And they did like something in Miami, but it even felt very very underwhelming. It's like, okay, no, like you need to like maybe step up and do something.
They were like 4 hours late. Like we were like going to bed. We were like, okay, well, we were gonna stay up and see what was happening. It was just for their colors. Yeah, I mean, Terry Crews were there. They were trying. And I was very firm at the beginning of the year. I was like, they need to do 2 drivers at one time to do all-encompassing hype. I've changed my mind because, like, obviously we're not forgetting. But it's like, Cadillac's on the back burner. Right. I'm not thinking about them. Give us a driver to hype up. And, like, almost it's going to be Checo, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be either Checo or Valtteri. And I don't think they would do both. No. And then I think it's going to be one of the, like, our generation slightly younger of, like, Mick or, who else is there talking about? Fred.
Mick, Fred. Felipe in contention?
According to some rumors, yes.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be some of those.
So, like, are they our age?
They're younger.
Younger?
Chris Medlin just tweeted and said 45 minutes later they're finally out. They were chatting walking back, but Russell only shrugged when I asked if all was okay.
He's not happy because he would be the first to be like, yabba dabba do. Yabba dabba do.
But this is George and Max walking back together. We could be hearing more about George and Max soon. Who knows? They're walking out together.
I do truly feel like it's both. The FIA is going to be like, hey guys, like, why are you all so obsessed with each other? Like, chill out. Because, like, both of them were, like, so silly about it.
They're so silly.
They were both so silly.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens next. Lando and Oscar are apparently going in soon. Anyway, we were talking about, is it going to be Checo and when?
Yeah. So, I was fully convinced it was going to be Checo. But now I'm like, maybe it is going to be Valtteri.
Oh, actually, sorry. Before we got interrupted, we were talking about how old Mick Schumacher was.
Oh, yeah. And how old is he?
I didn't look. I got too distracted.
While she's figuring that out.
How old is Mick Schumacher? Mick is he's 2 years younger than us. Mick's our age.
26?
He's 26.
Okay. Not bad.
No, not bad. I think Felipe might be like 25. Okay. I would love if it was Fred. There, he said it.
Yeah, I would love if it was Fred as well. I love Fred.
I'm going to be honest, or Mick, too.
Fred is in the Cadillac family right now. Yeah. And, like, I think that would do him a lot of good.
Is Felipe technically 2? Or is Fred fully in and Felipe was a...
I don't quite know.
They were on the same team, right?
I don't know. Oh, okay. No, yes, he was in the same team for long, but I don't know long term what the goal is.
Yeah, so we would like something from Cadillac.
It's a little breadcrumb.
More than the breadcrumbs we've got.
Okay, a little, one slice of Wonder bread.
Yeah, you can get Wonder. That's fine.
Wonder. We'll take Wonder at this point.
Wonder, yeah, for sure. Okay.
Anything else that happened pre-weekend?
No, Lance got to race. That's it.
Lance got to race, baby.
Mm-hmm.
McLaren brought some upgrades.
I think Lando was testing them more than Oscar, if what I had read was correct, and it's something on the front wing to help out. You guys know I love to look at the technical stuff, but I sometimes don't, my little brain sometimes fully doesn't interpret it. What I do know is both Lando and Oscar were given the opportunity if they wanted the front wing upgrade on their car, Lando for qualifying, and then for the race. Lando said yes, Oscar said no. We didn't have good qualifying. We didn't have a good weekend.
Which, like,
okay, hindsight, where Oscar finished, it's not a bad weekend, but he has won almost every other race. So coming in fourth and not even on the podium,
it hurts. So the free practices were...
Lando stepped it up for one of them,
Yeah, the third one, he did good. He was the fastest. Williams were really good in the free practices as well, which didn't translate to qualifying or the race at all.
No. And then, unfortunately for Charles, he crashed in free practice 1, brought out a red flag. They couldn't get the car fixed in time for free practice 2, so he had 1 free practice session running.
Right.
I felt a little tug on my heartstring for Charles this weekend.
That's crazy coming from Gracie. I did, okay, go ahead, speak on it.
Like, I'm not a hater in any way.
Right.
Ferrari is just not my favorite team. I don't know. It's like it's getting tiring. I'm tired of seeing them fuck over their drivers. Yeah, no, I don't know how their fans like. How do you guys do it?
No, because even us being not Ferrari fans, at points I'm like, can you all give it a break and respect your drivers?
Seriously,
like you have quite literally the potential for the best lineup on the grid. Like I think other than like Lando and Oscar, if Ferrari had like the same like level of car that McLaren has, and Charles would both be maybe the best lineup on the grid.
God, absolutely.
And the fact that they are taking this time period where it's going to be hard to get 2 fantastic drivers like this on the team at the same time again. Because Lewis is close to retirement, Charles is close to being fed up.
I hope at least.
I hope. But like, and then you always have to do like the rebuilding, like, it took them years to get to this point. I would say the last time that they had such an experienced lineup that was full of 2 greats is when Sebastian and Kimi were on together.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't bad in 2022.
Right, but I mean, Charles was still young in 2022. Yeah. And while he was a great racer in 2022, he's not at the same level he is now. Yeah. But they're wasting such a good year on kind of a shit car and bad strategy calls. And if you're gonna like be doing bad strategy calls, or if you're gonna have a bad car, then at least like listen to your drivers and make them feel wanted and make them feel like they're helping. And how it was handled during the race was quite frankly ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
We'll talk about it more during when we talk more about the race. But like quite literally, like I was like, even the commentators were like confused by it.
Yeah.
Because of how
insane.
It's out of whack. So, like, if we're feeling this way,
no, literally,
God bless the Tifosi.
You guys.
I think one day I need to find an Italian man, Tifosi, because the loyalty that they have
there is very loyal.
Unmatched.
You mean for like a husband?
Yeah, for a husband.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you know what? Like, that's loyalty right there. It's also they'd be a little delusional.
House divided. As a McLaren
That's
fan?
true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd prefer a McLaren fan, but I can't win them all,
No,
plus Italian, man.
That's true. Yeah. So, that's why we free practice. New, what's that word? Advancements on my end of Charles was tugging on my heartstrings a bit. Happened last year with George Russell.
And here we are.
So, who knows? All I know is those 2 little sinister, evil, and orange men aren't leaving.
Yeah, there's like a cycle of rotation of
for sure.
People other than McLaren that just kind of cycles through for both of us. And the third man is always kind of not matching on us.
My third, I'm going to be honest with you, like...
Alex.
Yes, Alex, but it never truly leaves from being Max. Max can piss me off so much.
No, that's true.
And I, like, as mad as I was after Austria last year, as mad as I was after Coda last year, it's like...
You can't help it.
Damn it, I still love that guy.
He's so endearing.
Yeah, and
it's
so
endearing.
Yeah.
No, actually, I completely agree with that. Like, Max is always I'm always going to be... Like, if Max wins, immediately I'm not happy, but then I, like, sit down and, like, I put... like the race aside, I'm like, I am so happy for that man. Sure. And I think he's so funny, and he's just the funniest little guy ever. Yeah, so, but I mean, like, but like the random favorites, they do cycle because like, and they never sync up. I think at one point there was like a week or 2 where we synced up with Carlos. Yeah, and then a couple weeks ago we synced up slightly with Danny Ricciardo.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird because, like, he's not even on the grid anymore and it just happened.
How did we do that?
But it's, like, cycles through. Like, right now I would say, like, my random favorite. Like, if I don't really necessarily have one right now, I think I still would consider Carlos a random favorite. Especially after that Williams video that was posted and then deleted.
Yeah, they like incriminated themselves even more.
Yeah.
Like,
well, everyone claimed it was because the brand name was on the Cool Whip. Not because of why they probably should have deleted it.
Oh, yeah. That was so out of pocket.
That was so out of pocket. If you all need to go find that, if you want to go find it, you can find it on Twitter. It's basically a video of Carlos eating, canned whipped cream in a very over sexual way where you're like, hey,
what are we doing?
What are we doing here?
What was that for?
And it was deleted, and everyone's saying it was deleted because the brand of the whipped cream was in the video.
Yeah.
But like it probably should have just been deleted in general. Anyways, I think Carlos might still currently be my random favorite.
Yeah. My random favorite, I'm not claiming Charles yet.
Right.
I think I'm in limbo right now. And for sure, like I said, Max almost is always 3. Gabby's always up there.
We got a rookie.
For sure. We have separate rookies though.
Yeah.
And I do, I'm always rooting for Isaac.
And I'm always rooting for Gabby.
Yeah. So we balance each other out.
It works.
Sorry, 1 second.
Chris Medlin.
Okay. He just said, just taking stock a lot we're waiting on tonight. So that's fine. We're waiting on a lot. I'll update you guys.
Okay.
We're still waiting on Red Bull's protest versus Russell. We're still waiting on the safety car infringements from Kimi, Oscar, Esteban, Charles, Carlos, Pierre, and Lance. They all have safety car infringements at the moment. Ocon driving erratically versus Verstappen. McLaren driver collision. Behrman rejoining at turn 14. There's a lot we're waiting on. And
so, frankly, anything could happen.
We could get a big nothing burger.
We could get a nothing burger. And at this point, I almost hope we get a big nothing burger.
Actually, I don't want anything to happen to Oscar, so the safety car infringements,
let's just
drop that. And Kimi, drop that. So, sorry, once again, if Chris Medlin tweets, I'm reading it, so I'm going to read it from me.
Mm-hmm.
Should we start the race?
Yeah, let's start the race.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So,
qualifying, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Once again,
we were watching qualifying while watching Le Mans, so, we had a lot of different screens on at the same time.
I think I was pretty dialed into qualifying.
I was not, so I'm glad you were.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of the usual, but you could still, once again, tell that McLaren, wasn't...
They weren't where they normally are.
Where they normally are.
And I truly hope it is just, a one-off with this track and trying out the new things and not, everybody else is catching up and we're, falling behind. Not falling behind because, we still did good.
Because I don't think we were too strong at Canada. Never mind. I think we did well at Canada last year. I don't know. I'm just going to hope we were off.
When's the next race?
No, the following week, not this weekend.
Where is it?
Austria.
Oh, that's right.
Because that's where Max's 2 penalty points expire.
Yeah.
From Canada, or from Lando.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to Austria next 2 weeks.
Well, we're not going, but I mean,
I'm in Austria.
Mentally, I'm in Austria.
Yeah,
I'm at the Secret Gardens in my mind, which is wherever the Formula One race is that weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I love a rotating Secret Garden. Mm-hmm. Yeah, leave a comment and tell us what your Secret Garden is.
Yeah, where's your Secret Garden? And what does it look like? Yeah, just tell us a little bit. We're curious.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we'll talk about qualifying order in 1 second. Lando did his qualifying, and we're in Q3.
Mm-hmm.
He goes around, and he just misses the corner, so he goes, through the chicane, so it doesn't count. Time deleted, whatever. He has to go out, put another time. He doesn't find time. He goes out again, very last second. Coming out of, the last turn, he hits the wall and just...
Scrapes it.
He scrapes the wall. Yeah, he doesn't hit it, sorry. He still finishes the lap, but he didn't improve, so he started 7th. There was, a lot of discourse, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter about it. People were so many people were that was just such a dumb move. And then people were why are you saying his move was dumb? It's okay to say that your driver had a bad move.
Yeah.
It's okay to be he should have corrected that. Or that shouldn't have been happening.
The same way you should be able to call out, even if he's your favorite driver, be he shouldn't have said that, or he shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have handled it that way. Because guess what? If you love your favorite driver, don't you want to hold them accountable?
You want to hold them accountable, yeah, for sure. So it's easy to be I'm upset that he made that move, but I'm still a fan of him. That doesn't mean you're not a fan. Just, people were being weird about that in the reps. Anyway, yeah.
What's new?
We know, truly. didn't make the smartest move. Started P7. Oscar started P4 alongside Kimmy. So that was qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
Going in
Oof.
to the race.
It was...
The start was fine.
Actually, it was generally until like the last, the thing that we'll talk about later, it was a pretty clean race.
It was. Also, some people... I thought it was good.
I thought it was a good
great
race. I thought it was good. It was a little boring, I think, because it was a clean race. It was just a little boring. There wasn't
I think what made it a little more interesting to me is, so immediately starting the race, the top 5 or the top 6 all started on the mediums. Charles and Lando in P7 and P8 started on the hards. There were a few mediums behind them, and then the very back of the grid started on the hards. So like starting out very, very quickly, they were like, these mediums aren't working well. Max Verstappen did what he did a couple races ago, came into the pits really early to put on a pair of hards because the hards were going a lot better with the conditions. And then so like we're sitting there and we're like, oh, cool. Max pit, then George pit to cover off, then Kimmy pits, then Oscar pits. They all go from medium to hard.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there and we're like, Charles and Lando are up in 1-2 right now. Great. They should go for a 1-stop. They're on the hards. The hards are doing fine.
Yeah.
And did they go for a 1-stop, Celine?
No.
No,
they didn't. So do you want to talk about Charles?
Yeah, well, and just real quick, we get there probably conditions we didn't know or see about, but both of them seemed like their tires were okay from our point of view. Right,
because Lando wasn't as vocal about it, but Charles was actually very vocal about wanting to do a 1-stop.
Yeah, very.
And when he was talking with his race engineer, at one point earlier when he was still on the hards, his race engineer goes, we're going to go for plan B. And Charles goes, no, I think we should go for plan C.
Yeah.
And then the race engineer goes, copy. Like, that's almost okay, we'll go for plan C. That's even what DC said in the commentator booth was like, okay, like, I just love how they don't even fight him anymore.
Yeah, they were like, they stopped fighting Charles.
Sure enough, a couple laps later, they go, okay, we're going to pit. And Charles goes, no, why are we pitting? I thought we were going for plan C. He's like, no, plan B. And we're like, oh, no. They didn't just list. They didn't just like say copy because they were agreeing with him. They said copy because they didn't even care to fight him. Like, no, this isn't a discussion. Like, you're just listening to us, and that, frankly, is insane.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
They have all the data in the world, absolutely, but Charles was so comfortable on those hards.
Charles is the one that's in the car, and like, yes, I get that there are times that like Charles isn't aware of outside factors,
for sure.
But that's when you say, hey. And I also get trying to keep the radio clear and trying to keep the like communication clear. But he could say like, "Hey, this is we're doing we're doing Plan B because of this, or we're doing Plan B based on outside factors." And if Charles wants explanation, he can ask for him. He can say why. But he literally is like, "Why are we stopping? Why are we stopping?" And then he stopped and he's like, "Why did I stop?" That was
multiple times he asked that.
And you know what? I agree. I am fed up on behalf of Charles. Like, when's
it gonna get?
How does he put up with it?
I know, and
he's got the patience of a saint.
Truly, he does.
He would be a good boyfriend, I think.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, because if he can put up for again the loyalty. I really need to I need to marry a Tifosi, I fear.
What are they feeding them?
What are they feeding him? Lies.
Yes, they are.
They're feeding him lies.
Yeah, they're feeding them lies for sure. Yeah, so Charles goes off and does his pit stop. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Lando's leading. It's like if he pits, he's going to come out ahead of Charles, yes, but behind all that pack. Why don't we just push and see how far he can go on these hards and maybe like what could happen?
To be fair, I couldn't tell how close to laps traffic he was even if he didn't pit. Like, would he have hit lap traffic? And if he did hit lap traffic, then he would have definitely needed to pit because he would get held back. And then whenever he did eventually have to pit, then it would be an issue. If he did have to. But like...
Yeah, I don't know how close they were.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just like... and the commentators did talk about this. I would love to see a gamble. And McLaren gambles in weird ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel
Gambling
like,
for a safety car, which again, there was a safety car, not that Lando could have participated in it.
Well, no.
No.
That maybe, I mean, sure, ifs and buts were coconuts, whatever y'all want to say.
I've never heard that phrase before.
What?
Ifs and buts were coconuts?
If ifs and buts were coconuts.
What's the rest of it?
We'd all have a happy ending or something. I don't know, my mom loves to say it.
I'm going to use that one.
It's really good.
I'm going to keep that one.
Anyway, it's... what would have happened if he tried the one stop? And, like, we'll never know. Obviously, we could do this all day long and all that jazz.
He probably wouldn't have been close enough to Oscar regardless.
No, literally.
To have the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is the fact that it's finally happened. McLaren, Lando and Oscar, they collided. Just a little bit. Just a wee little bit. And you know what? It truly was. Because if it was going to happen at some point. Everyone said it.
Both of them even admitted it too. They're like, it's not an if, it's a win.
Yep.
We are racing. We are the 1 and 2 for the championship right now. It's a win.
It's going to happen.
And the win has happened.
The win has happened. They can get it over with. And I truly think it happened in the best way possible because Lando owned up to it immediately, which is good. And Oscar is smart enough not to necessarily say anything abruptly on the radio.
Yeah.
If the roles were reversed, and even if it happened and Oscar was Lando and Oscar immediately owned up to it, Lando doesn't know what's going on in Oscar's story.
No,
he doesn't know.
Sure.
So I think Lando would have said something like, "What the fuck is he doing? What are we doing?"
Like I'm sure Oscar said stuff, but he didn't say it on the radio.
He didn't say it on the radio. Or they haven't like advertised it ever. But I do think that it was the perfect case scenario. And it didn't take both of them out of the race. Mm-mm. It only took Lando out, and he owned up to it as his own fault.
We're also 4-5, not 1-2.
Yeah, so. It was 4-5. It wasn't a 1-2. And for it to happen at this point, where they are in the championship standings, they didn't move. They're still first and second in the championship standings. And I truly think that this is the best case scenario if it had to happen.
We need to explain what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, I'll tell my funny story after we explain what happened because it's quite comical. So, Lando and Oscar, they were like 5 laps ago. Yeah, it was close. It was close. We were getting towards the end of the race. Lando was slowly catching up to the back of Oscar, and he was behind him for a couple laps. He goes in for an overtake, and he's going on the inside. He misjudged it, and he has admitted to misjudging it, thinking that Oscar was going to not move for him. It was a total misjudge. He just thought that the racing line would take Oscar away from it, right in front of him. Mm-hmm. And it didn't. His front wing clipped the back of Oscar. Oscar didn't have damage, but then Lando was so close to the wall, it slid him into the wall, and his race was like immediately over. Yeah. Now I, like you all have heard, was at a water park with my family. We were eating our lunch, and my family knows I love Formula One, so they didn't really care that I was watching. They probably expected it. No, we were all lounging. We had done our fun time in the wave pool. We were all lounging, and I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, it's on my phone. I started at 60%. I'm like, I'm fine. I can keep watching. It's going. My phone started buffering, and I was like, oh, the stream happens. I joined the water park Wi-Fi. It's fine. My phone buffers more, and I can see them coming so close. My phone dies. But I knew I was like, Kimmy is right in front of Oscar. It was like, it's Kimmy, it's Oscar, it's Lando. I was like, something's gonna happen. I knew it. I was like, oh, okay. My phone dies. I look at my dad and I go, please, I need your phone. My phone died. And he hands me his phone. So I Google live timing and I go to the live timing. I see George, Max, Kimmy, Oscar, and I see in pit. And I look lower and I see Lando stopped. I didn't have a screen in front of me anywhere because like F1 TV is not on my dad's phone. So I'm just looking at live timings and I was like, okay. Yeah. And then I had to pop on Twitter real quick on my dad's account. So yeah, he does have Norris Googled or like searched up on his Twitter. Yeah, me and Marley were watching at my apartment during it, and the whole time I was like, oh no, Gracie, she's gonna be seeing this, but it's gonna be through a little phone. I don't know. I also wasn't positive if you were watching it or not, so I was like, no, this could be really scary. At the beginning, when they were getting closer, and like we have a group message of everybody that watched them all, one of our friends texted and was like, Gracie, are you okay? And I was like, I can't even exit out of my phone because there's no picture, it'll stop.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't, like, and I was like, God, nobody knows I'm watching. They don't know what they don't know.
I was truly terrified for her.
No, but I saw.
And again, everything turned out fine. Enough.
I feel like
I truly do.
I was like a little less at peace after like the overtake from. I wasn't mad about the Oscars overtake in Monza last year, but like I think I was more like, oh, we don't get the 1-2 because of that. But like I feel so like I think it's fine,
right? And also I think it helps that they both handled it so maturely that it almost like calmed me a little bit, knowing, because while I wasn't necessarily worried about like the points, because again I knew that the points would be okay, and I trust McLaren, and I know that we're a good team, we'll bounce back, it'll be fine. But I was more so worried about, honestly, like the team dynamic repercussions of it.
No,
but then the way that they handled it, I was like, oh, I'm not worried at all. The way that Lando immediately said that, as soon as he came over the radio and was like, that was my fault, I'm so sorry, I was like, oh, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, Oscar, I didn't read the direct quote, but Oscar in the media was like...
Yeah, because Lando did come up to Oscar while Oscar was doing an interview and was like, I'm so sorry, it was my fault, it was my bad, and it was fine.
Yeah, it was
and they'll talk about it in debrief. It'll be fine. It'll be good. Okay. But Kimmy got a podium.
That's so exciting.
Ricky's first podium.
We literally talked about last week with Mare who we think is going to next get on the podium, and we said Kimmy.
We did say Kimmy.
And, I mean, like, it was going to happen, obviously, but great prediction on our
end. And I'm excited that the two people that were on the podium with him were perfect.
Perfect.
George being his teammate and Max being... Max and Max was in the same situation where he, right out of the gate, when he first joined Formula One, he was really successful. He was a really young race winner. He knows the pressure. He knows that it can be overwhelming. I think has a soft spot for the rookies this year because of that. Especially Kimmy. So I think that it was the two perfect people up there with them. I'm very excited.
I did only see a snippet. I need to go back and watch the whole podium.
It was really cute. At one point, Kimmy just kind of just dumped the rest of the bottle on his head, and I'm assuming it's because he doesn't like the taste of champagne.
He couldn't drink it. Oh, he was in Canada.
He was in Canada. Me and Marley, as they were doing the cool down lap, or like the last lap, we literally did look up the drinking age, and in some parts of Canada, it is 19. Oh, interesting. But where they are, it's 18.
Well, good.
So I hope he goes to celebrate tonight.
Do you think that's the first time he's ever had champagne?
No, I mean, he's won in Formula 2, right?
No, that's true.
Do they give champagne to Formula 2? Or is it Sprite? No, they give champagne in Formula 2.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But...
do they drink it?
I don't know. What's the drinking age in Europe? It's 18, right?
I think in most countries it's 18.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
He's had champagne before. But it was just funny that he dumped it all over his head.
Yeah, gotta celebrate somehow.
He's gotta celebrate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cute. And then another point on the podium, who was it? I don't know if it was George to Max or Max to George. I think it was George to Max. Literally went up behind them on their neck and just intensely sprayed like the whole bottle on the back of their neck. I was like, guys, stop flirting on the podium. Stop flirting.
Oh, that's so funny. So my phone died, so I didn't see this part. We need to talk about the safety car infringements that like 7 drivers had.
I don't know what happened during that. I didn't see what caused that. Oh. What happened?
I don't know.
All I know is that they're under investigation for it, but I didn't realize at the time that anything was happening with it. Unless it was they went into the pits too early. I don't know.
All noted for a safety car infringement. And then he followed up by saying, I'm told this is still being reviewed, but is unlikely to have an impact on the classification.
Yeah, I wonder if they went into the pit too early, or maybe they didn't. I don't know.
Oh my god, apparently Kimi Antonelli has to do final exams this week.
Give that boy a break.
Allegedly, who knows for sure.
Allegedly. I feel like he's had to do final exams a lot.
Yeah.
Also, it's June. I don't know your European schools. I don't know Italian schools. So I'll probably update you all on TikTok and Instagram once the news comes out about what's happening with all of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have an update for you now. But, I mean, it was a good race. I do think it was at the beginning, it was a bit boring for me watching. Not boring. Boring sounds like a harsh way to say it. But it wasn't as I don't know. I think it's because nothing happened in the first lap, and normally something always happens in the first lap, and that almost gets me that little spike of adrenaline, and then it chills out. Mm-hmm. But because nothing happened in the first lap, I was like, oh well.
The only thing that happened was Kimmy overtook Oscar.
It was a beautiful overtake, too.
It was beautiful, yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the calendar for 2026.
Okay, yeah, let's discuss.
They announced the 2026 calendar finally this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have a hot take.
Okay.
I don't care that the Indy 500 and Canada are now on the same date.
Interesting.
I think you're either... Now, what I care about is I think the two sports can work together to do separate times.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's very obvious that they don't do that, or like Formula One is like, no, we're going to do this time no matter what, that's going to be really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
I just spent my whole weekend watching 3 different series. Like,
Yeah.
it was fun.
It was fun.
I'll watch the Indy 500 and I'll have Formula One on too at the same time. Like, in my opinion, I'm like, oh, that's so much more fun for me. Like, I love both sports. I'll watch at the same time. You're either going to watch the one you want or watch them both, or like watch one then catch up later. I don't know. I think that's a very hot take. Everyone was very mad about it, but I was like, you're going to watch what you want. Exactly.
I think people are upset about it is because while there was always a race going on at the same time as the Indy 500, it's the fact that like Monaco and the Indy 500 are the two most prestigious races on the calendar.
No, I do
the
get
fact
that
that they were happening on the same day makes it like special almost, and it does complicate things a little bit for like the people that are going to one of the races and like and then goes home and like watches the other one.
Yeah, no, I do get that for sure.
But yeah, I'm not as, I guess, upset about it either. Because it was fun having everything going on
so fun
this week.
Also, like, I get it's still going to be pretty cold in Canada at the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
The environmental side of me is very happy about it because we're not going all the way to Europe to do a double or a triple header and then coming all the way back to North America. They can...
Will they?
They'll send their stuff right to Canada. Well, they'll send some stuff, right? Like merch and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, like, some stuff will be sent to Canada. But...
Yeah.
And, like, obviously the drivers aren't staying in North America for 2 weeks, whatever. Also, I don't understand this is what I don't understand, why Miami has to be the first weekend in May. Why can't we move Miami back and make this a double header?
I do think that the reason why it is the first weekend of May has something to do with the football, like, summer training schedule and I don't know.
There is, but most teams, at least the Bengals they have practice fields. They don't practice on the regular field. I don't even know what Miami's practice field would be because it's all parking lot.
Yeah. I don't know. But it is, I know why is it the case?
Yeah, and
maybe it truly is something to do with but also, we talked about this before, like, the direct competition with the Kentucky Derby.
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We thought maybe it would change a bit. Also, like, heartbreaking news. Imola is gone. I'm not upset about Imola being gone. I'm upset that I don't have a birthday race anymore.
Yeah.
There, I said it.
Should we go to Spain next year?
We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we gotta like lock down. Now that we have the calendar, we need to lock down what international race we're doing next year.
Yeah, because we really want to go to Japan, but I do fear I could have a work conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah,
we'll have to pick. It'll be a big decision time. I don't think I can pull off Australia because Australia is very expensive.
I think Australia would fall with my work conflict.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think, like,
we need to do one of the cheaper ones.
Yeah.
But also, I want to go back to Spain so bad.
I would love to go to Spain. I really want to do Silverstone, and I just watched a girl's video on how she's cheaply doing Silverstone.
I would love to do Silverstone. I've never been.
That would help my work, by the way. We'll figure that out. You guys want to hear us talk about where we're going
to
go?
Yeah, do you want to we plan our trip here on the podcast?
Is anybody, because we have so many people that love to comment on our videos.
Nikki, let's know.
To you, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Nikki.
Is anybody planning on going international? How many trips you have planned?
We also jokingly said this weekend that we're going to Le Mans next year. And we're going to stay in those little camping huts.
Well, see, I have thoughts about that, though.
What's the thought?
Why? So, in 27, we're both turning 30, and now I don't have a birthday race. What if we just did, like, a good stint over there? And like see if like Le Mans
is close enough to another like Formula 1 race the week after, and we do the double.
Yeah, we do the double, and that's in between our birthdays.
You're speaking my language,
I know.
girl. All right.
That would be good, and we could
we'll push Le Mans off a year.
Yeah, I think we should push Le Mans off a year,
and then do a double, hopefully.
Yeah, and fingers crossed, do a double. What a crazy double that would be.
Because what race would it be?
So I mean, hypothetically,
Austria? Could it be close to Austria? I would love to go to Spa.
Spa's rotating. So Spa's not going to be 27. So that's something we have to think too. And Zandvoort's the last time for next year. But also, I fear... I would like to go to a race before summer break.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Especially if we're not going to Miami next year.
Is next year's 26th?
Yep. This is so hard.
You guys are just, we like talked about
You're just on the journey with us.
No, literally. Okay. Acceptable. Okay. Hello? Stop moving. What is this weekend? Okay. So Spain will probably be Le Mans weekend. So like if this schedule hypothetically stays the same for 26, we could do Le Mans then Austria, yes.
Was Le Mans different last year?
Nope, Le Mans always falls on Father's Day weekend because I remember it was Father's Day last year too. So it's always the middle of June.
I would love if Spain was off by 1 week and we could do Spain and Le Mans.
Yeah. Oh well, but that's just 26 calendar.
And Spain is right next to France.
Yeah. So we'll have to hope for 27. It's a little different.
We could stop for a day in Monaco and walk around.
Yeah, no matter what we do, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, we could literally do. That'd be so fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, cross your fingers, guys.
Yeah, you guys want to help manifest that, by the way?
Manifest it for us. Any other thoughts on the calendar?
No, let's look at it. I really enjoy Australia being the opener.
Me too. I like it as well.
I like it being the opener.
It feels great. Right.
It does feel right. Yeah, it's a bummer we're gonna lose. I mean, I didn't think there were gonna be 2 races in Spain.
Yeah, I thought that Barcelona was going away and they were adding Madrid, which I was so sad about missing Barcelona because I love Barcelona and I love Madrid too. Actually, I do think when I went to visit, I liked Madrid more than Barcelona, but I was sick when I was in Barcelona, so I don't think I got the full Barcelona experience. Bummer. So maybe we do Barcelona.
Have you seen that sick grandstand at Barcelona? It's probably expensive, but that is
the perfect view. Ever.
Yep. You can see them come one way, and then you see them come all the way. You're like split on a corner. Mm-hmm. It is so cool.
That would be cool.
It'd be really cool.
But also think about how cool it would be to go to the very first year that Madrid has that race.
What if it's a shit show?
It probably will be, but we could say that we did it.
That probably will be close to IndyCar closing because it's in September.
That's another thing that I'm going to have to really get over.
What?
I might have to go international for a WEC race because the only WEC race that comes to the United States is COTA, and it's always the same weekend as the IndyCar final race, and I don't know if I can give up going to Nashville for the IndyCar final.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't give up.
But I want to go to a WEC race.
Yeah, we'll go to a WEC race. We're going to Le Mans in 2027.
But I want to go to one next year. Oh my God, the McLaren hypercar will be there for when we're in Le Mans. Hey guys.
We're starting an agenda.
I'm starting an agenda and I'm pushing it hard.
Sorry, maybe not an agenda. It's a rumor.
It's a rumor. I'm pushing a narrative.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that honestly, it's a form of manifestation that has proven to work in the past.
Yes.
And I do think that if I keep bothering enough people on social media about it, that it will happen one day. But I am pushing that for the McLaren hypercar in WEC, that one of the drivers that they signed for it is Pietro Fittipaldi. Now walk with me. One, he's a fantastic driver. Mm-hmm. He is proven to be a fantastic sports car driver. He's doing really well in Elms. He did really well in Le Mans this year. His car had a bit of an issue with the steering wheel, but he did fantastic, and he was proving to be one of the stronger drivers on his team. And he has a lot of experience with sports cars. With that being said, in Le Mans this year, he drove for United Autosport, which is partnered with McLaren.
Mm-hmm.
And they will be partnered with McLaren for the hypercar
Mm-hmm.
program. And I just truly think that it's kind of perfect.
That hypercar is gorgeous, by the way.
It is. You know what it's giving? It's giving the McLaren camo livery from preseason testing.
Yeah.
And it's
so
beautiful.
Good. Yeah, I love that.
It's so gorgeous.
So really gorgeous.
Okay. Anything else to discuss?
Nope. Just the calendar's out. Hopefully we'll land on a...
We'll keep you updated.
We'll land, we probably really need to land on it soon because tickets are going to go on sale soon.
Yeah, let's sit down and look at it.
Yeah. So we'll land on a race. We'll let you all know.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know if you're going international. Any Elms, Formula One, Toronto, IndyCar.
I'd love to go Toronto IndyCar, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let us know. Good ebb. McLaren's fine. Lando and Oscar are fine. You can be annoyed about it, but at the end of the day, Lando realized he was in the wrong.
Yes, it's fine. For next week's episode, it might be a little bit late.
Mm-hmm.
Is there IndyCar next weekend?
I'm going to be honest, I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll have to look at IndyCar. There's definitely not a Formula One race next weekend, but I will be going to the IMSA race in Watkins Glen. I decided this today,
it was
like
kind of really
an
cool.
hour ago, and I leave in 5 days to go to it. So if you're going to the IMSA race, let me know. Give me tips. Me and Marley are going, but because of that, it's probably gonna push the episode back a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
So just be prepared. Mentally prepare yourself for that.
I know you're going to miss us.
You're going to miss us.
But that's why we have social media.
And that's also why we have a double episode this week for you. So, like I said, tomorrow we will be posting the IndyCar recap. We are about to watch it in like an hour or so because it's a night race.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Still no more updates on anything else. So once again, check our socials.
Check our socials.
I was hoping you would get breaking news during that.
Fantastic.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thanks for watching. See
Bye.
you next time. Bye.